Welcome to RotoWire. Today we are doing the DraftKings $15 million total prize NFL Best Ball, 15 millionaire, 2 million to first, 1 million to second. We'll be drafting right here, right now, and we are getting ready to go. Now we're going to click on here and we're going to begin to get rolling with the draft. Let's see, we get going here, get entered in this league. And all right, get that set up. And actually, as we go through here, I would go really with some scoring parameters first. That might be the way to go here. So for scoring parameters, what we're looking at is 4 points per passing touchdown, full PPR. Running backs and receivers, they get a 3-point bonus at the 100-yard threshold. Quarterbacks get a 3-point bonus at the 300-yard threshold. And that will get us set here. And again, $2 million to the winner, and also 1 million to second place. That is pretty incredible. Draft starting in 2 minutes, so let's roll this quickly.
Football season is right around the corner, and there's no better way to lock in your fantasy dominance early than with Best Ball on DraftKings, where you draft once and ride your roster all season long. And right now, DraftKings is giving all customers a can't-miss offer. Draft one, get one. Enter a lineup in the $15 million Best Ball contest for just $20, and you'll score another Best Ball ticket to play free for a share of $15 million, giving you a second shot to win big. It's easy. Just draft your team once, no weekly management required, and let your top scorers automatically start each week. Across the whole season, every breakout star, every clutch play, every touchdown will count toward your quest for a share of $15 million. Look, I absolutely love doing these Best Ball drafts on DraftKings. Super easy, super quick. You don't have to worry about the waiver wire, all that in-season management. I'll tell you, so far, been drafting way too much of my guy, Brian Thomas Jr., getting a lot of Chris Godwin, a lot of Jordan Mason later in drafts. It's been so much fun to enter these Best Ball leagues, try out different strategies, build out a portfolio of your favorite NFL players. You can download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app now to draft your $20 Best Ball lineup to play for a share of $15 million and get a second ticket to play free for a share of $15 million. That's 2 chances to win big without ever setting your lineup again. Draft one, get one, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. 18 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. 1 per customer. Enter the Best Ball $15 million headliner contest by 9/4/25 to get 1 bonus entry. $20 entry fee required. Reward expires in 30 days. See terms at DraftKings.com/NFL-best-ball. Sponsored by DK.
All right, and that could not have gone better. 5 seconds till we're drafting. We are 30-second clock, which we love that. Can definitely have some fun with that. And let's see where my pick is at. I am picking 11, so perfect there. We'll be near the end, so plenty of time to talk between picks. All right, let's see if we can get going here. All right. Yeah, about 15 seconds to go here. Again, DraftKings Best Ball, 15 million overall, 2 million to first, 1 million to second. What a great opportunity to be drafting a Best Ball. I got to change this banner on the screen, take that off there, and take that off. There we go. There we go. We can work a little better. Now that looks a little better. There we go. All right, 12 seconds to go. And on the clock, here we go. Let's see where the Jamar Chase went first. As expected, as the case. Can't really do a draft board on here. I wonder if I can do a draft board on here. There we go. Yeah, I wonder if I can pick from there. Yeah, not sure. Saquon Barkley goes second. CeeDee Lamb third. All right, and then let's see. Then yeah, I can be able to do this as well. Yeah, that's fine. I can do that. Show the draft board as we're going here. So again, friend Scott Cobb's in the house picking third. So we got Chase, Barkley, CeeDee Lamb, Bijan Robinson. So obviously same order. CeeDee Lamb often is moving ahead of Justin Jefferson a little bit here, and because the little bit of uncertainty with the hamstring, he seems to be fine. Jefferson should be back at practice. He may have gone back today. He's expected to practice this week, but again, a little less uncertainty. Christian McCaffrey at 5. Look, you're looking to take down a tournament. You got to consider McCaffrey, right? 4 seasons he's played every game. The last 4 been the running back 1 or the running back 2. So there's that. And remember with McCaffrey, it's been 2 of the last 3 years he played every game. Training injury last year, so there's that, right? Jahmyr Gibbs in the 6th pick. And so now we have 4 running backs in the first 6 picks. Let's start with 3 receiver league. Justin Jefferson goes to the 7 spot. All right. And I'm going to be up in 3 picks here. And again, 3 receivers. Now we get Malik Neighbors off the board. So 4 receivers, 4 running backs, and we are off. And I'm up in a couple of picks here. So again, like the breakdown of 4 and 4 so far here. We'll see what the turn brings us. Should be fun to see. Let's take a look at my board here. Let's look at some running backs. We got Henry, Genty, Chase Brown, Taylor, receivers. You got St. Brown, Nakua, Brian Thomas Jr. Let's see how we're looking here. Nico Collins goes off the board. So we got a bit of a wide receiver heavy run, 5-4, 3 straight receivers on that run. And I'm on deck here. And all right, 10 seconds left for next pick. See where that goes. Now I'm going to be on the clock here. All right, Puka Nakua. All right, let's see what we got here. Running backs are kind of going, receivers are going fast and furious here. I still love my running backs this year. So I'm going to take me some big dog, Derrick Henry. Let's go with Derrick Henry here. 100-yard game, 3-point bonuses for those. I like that. That's one of the reasons I like Henry here, a little earlier than usual in a regular league. But the 3-point bonus, Henry's going to hit 100 yards often, and that's going to add up, right? It's like 30 free yards or 3 catches in PPR, which – that's the equivalent of that. And so I think Henry could easily have 12, 13, 100-yard games. Not a problem. Amon-Ra St. Brown goes. And then let's see who Gray Man 8 takes at the rest of the turn here before I come back up on the clock here. So first round, we've got 7 receivers, 5 running backs, Drake London. And you know what? I'm going to double up on running back here. You know what? I'm going to go with this team. I know everybody's going to tell me Ashton Genty be the pick, and that's great. And I can't dispute it. I think he fell too far here, but I can't get off the Chase Brown's team. There's going to be a lot of room for the Cincinnati back, the receiving game, the running game. Dan Pitcher, the offensive coordinator, this year built the running game around Chase Brown. Last year, built it around Zach Moss. Don't know what they were thinking. It's going to be fun to go with Henry and Chase Brown. We'll see where that goes. Genty falls all the way to the second round, 4th pick. Josh Jacobs goes ahead of him. Interesting there. But again, me taking Brown ahead of him was interesting as well. Brian Thomas Jr. falls into almost the mid-second round. Brock Bowers finally off the board at the 206. So far, team 12, and it looks like team 8 has a couple receivers. I have 2 running backs, and we'll see the other teams with some balance of running back receiver. See how this goes. And this is not 3rd round reversal for those who might have been wondering that. And we go Jonathan Taylor next. So Gibbs and Taylor on team 6 is a pair of running backs. This draft is 20 rounds. There'll be about 12 bench spots, maybe 12 bench spots. That sounds about right. You got the quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, flex, tight end, and it should leave us a room for A.J. Brown falling to the latter half of the 2nd round. That's about right for him, ADP-wise. So far, players get shuffled a little bit for mostly chalk for the most part. I might be the one who's non-chalk a little bit, but taking Chase Brown off the board as the running back 6, yeah, it's a little bit rich, right? For sure. All right, see what else we got here. So you got Tyreek Hill near the end of the 2nd round. So somebody's betting on that big comeback after a rough season. Ladd McConkey to Scott Cobb near the end of the 2nd round. Kyle Sabert asked in audio as, do I keep Josh Allen or Derrick Henry in a keeper league? If it's a 2-quarterback league, you got to start at keep Allen. But if you're in keeper, if it's a 1-year keeper, I'm keeping Derrick Henry, but that's me. I'm going to keep Derrick Henry there because I think that no slowing down there for him. Saquon Barkley, Devon Achane, the 2 running backs to go to team 2. So interesting there to go with those 2 running backs. Barkley I think Barkley will stay healthy this year. Only 2 linebackers on the field. A lot of time they're lighter than ever. It's my theory. Trey McBride goes at the turn to team up with Jamar Chase. Here we go. And then Lamar Jackson. So we got Chase, McBride, and Jackson. So team Google's 20, number 1. They go both tight end and quarterback in the first 3 picks. So we'll want to check in later to see how that team's depth looks at the running back and wide receiver position. See how that goes. That's always the risky run, but if you can pull it off, you got the masteries. But hey, you probably have, in my opinion, the quarterback 1, and I think Trey McBride, who outscored Bowers since Arizona went to their 2 tight end base in week 5, he outscored Bowers after that point. No reason he won't do it again. Jackson Smith and Jigba, beginning of the 3rd round. Bucky Irving is Scott Cope's first running back. So Irving falls to the 3rd round. Interesting there. That's a bit of a fall for him. I almost wonder what Achan's alleged injury, and I'm not really sure what the depth of that is, but yeah, it's interesting in the 2nd round. That he fell there. I mean, he would have gone earlier in any other draft, so that's where the slide's not. James Cook going in the early 3rd now that he has that contract in hand. So we already have in the first 4 teams, the 2, 3, and 4 have 2 running backs and a combination of 2 and 1s. Both 2 and 4, 2 running backs and a receiver. Scott has 2 wide receivers and a running back. And then obviously we had the team 1 that went a little of each. The Trashman 13 goes with another running back, McCaffrey and Hampton, to pair with A.J. Brown. So now we're seeing the running backs make a little bit of their comeback here. So that'll be interesting to see how this all shakes down. I do like going running back early in the drafts this year. Like I said earlier, I think the league is so bent on stopping the pass that coaches are leaning into taking the free yards that are there. And I think it's going to continue to be a bit of a trend this year. And, we'll see how that all shakes out. Kyron Williams going in the 2nd half of the 3rd round. Wow. Kyron Williams usually goes a little earlier than that, going after Hampton, Cook, Irving. That's not surprising, but after Cook and Hampton, Kyron Williams taking a bit of a slide. Maybe we're worried about Matthew Stafford, right? Matthew Stafford goes down. Oh, I'm on the clock here. All right. So let's see here. Let's see what receivers are available. Oh, I'm going to grab me some Garrett Wilson. I'm not thinking twice about that one. Love me some Garrett Wilson here. All right. So Garrett Wilson falls to me at the end of the 3rd round after Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels go back to back. T. Higgins went earlier this round. Marvin Harrison. Garrett Wilson, 147 to 168 targets a season. Justin Fields worked with 13 games with DJ Moore a couple of years ago. Moore at 13, 66, and 8. Devontae Adams off the board. So Gravy Man goes with 3 receivers start, St. Brown, London, and Adams. And I'll be up momentarily. Travion Henderson goes off the board. And I'm going to look some wide receiver here. You know what? I'm getting my guy. I'm a DJ Moore guy. I'm not getting him at the next pick. And I got to have me some DJ Moore. Should be heavily involved. I'm hoping in Chicago. Wide receiver 14 in a train wreck year last year. So give me a little DJ Moore there. Love to see him get a couple early targets in that preseason game too, playing on the outside. That was nice. Terry McLaurin goes off the board in the 4th round, early 4th. So a little bit maybe of a risk there, maybe. If McLaurin ends up not playing or ends up having an issue. Last report I read was teams might not be close with McLaurin's contract demand. So we'll see how that shakes out. George Kittle. Early in the 4th round. So up 3rd tight end off the board. So going back from team 12, 1 running back, 3 receivers. I have 2 and 2. And team 10, 1 running back, 2 receivers, and a quarterback. And then team 9 mixed it up, 1 of each. Real simple. And now Dr. Brad in the 8-hole, 4 straight receivers to open things up. Neighbors, Brian Thomas, T. Higgins, Mike Evans. Kenneth Walker goes off the board. And to the 7th team, who now have Kyron Williams and Kenneth Walker to go with JJ at receiver and Brock Bowers at tight end. All right, we're to the middle of the 4th round. And team picking right now is Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs. Comes back with 2 receivers, Marvin Harrison, Cortland Sutton. Tet McMillan goes off the board with A.J. Brown at receiver, Marion Hampton, and Christian McCaffrey. Alvin Kamara is the 3rd running back to DJ 041. So we have Tyreek Hill and 3 running backs. J-Mo goes off the board, 3rd receiver for Scott to go with McConkey and C.D. Lamb and Bucky Irving at running back. And we're nearing the turn at the end of the 4th round. I love these 30-second clocks. I could do these drafts all day long. Been drafting so often. I usually have my draft board up on the sites where I can set up my draft list. I do that ahead of time. And, I'm just coming here, and I think I know the board enough to this point, so I'm good with that. Xavier Worthy goes at the end of the 4th round. That's actually a bit of a fall, which kind of surprised me. Breece Hall at the very end of the 4th to turn the 1st running back for Google's 20. I've been all excited about Brees Hall since I heard he played through a knee injury last year. But man, the steady drumbeat of Braylon Allen, I just have to think that Hall is like 20 times better. That's hyperbole, of course, times better of a player. And how would you get him off the field? Because I still think Hall's like a top 5 NFL running back. But man, they just keep pounding the drum for Braylon Allen. So do I listen to it? And I backed off Brees Hall a little bit lately. I got plenty of shares. All right, 5th round, Devontae Smith, George Pickens, Burrow, Metcalf, Rice, they're flying along. Jalen Hurts, the big 5 quarterbacks are now off the board. Rashee Rice in the 5th round. And again, we'll find out what the league discipline is. Last report we heard is they're talking about up to 10 league wanted 10 games. Oh my gosh, we'll see how that all shakes out. But anyway, right, Calvin Ridley off the board. So we're having a pretty good run on receiver since the middle of the 4th. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10 in about a 14 pick period. Emeka Egbuka off the board. I'm on deck here, so I'm going to see where this pick goes and figure it out from there. Deebo Samuel. Let's just see. The receivers are flying fast and furious. You know what? I think I'm going to take the shot on Jalen Waddle. He's going to get some run this year. And no Jonnu Smith, 111 vacated targets there. I'm hoping some of those go back to Jalen Waddle this year. If Tyreek Hill loses a little bit, we'll see what happens. But Jalen Waddle, it hasn't been good. Hasn't been good the last 2 years for sure. But the running back run, the wide receiver run was going. So it's like, I got to keep up there and got to get somebody. So that's how we did it. On the turn, Team Gravy Man's up. They go at Ricky Pearsall. Andy Behrens loves him from Ricky Pearsall. He's on the RotoWire Marathon yesterday. If you want to catch the RotoWire Marathon, go to RotoWire YouTube. It was out yesterday, but had 32 fantasy experts on, one team per. I'm on the clock here. Let me get up here. Players, running backs on the board. I need a third one here. I think I'm going to go 3 and 3. Take a little James Conner. Can never get enough James Conner. There's that talk from Conner about maybe more involvement for Trey Benson, although I think they said that last year a little bit too. Conner just ends up being the lead dog, but even so, he probably gets the majority of the work. Running back 3 in the 6th round, I can live with that. Tony Pollard is a great pick right before that as well. But I think at this point, we're going to start seeing things drying up. Zay Flowers, 4th receiver to Mount Mutombo. Remember, you're watching the DraftKings Millionaire, 15 million Best Ball, 2 million to the winner, 1 million to second place, and obviously a boatload of prize after that. Gotta love DraftKings for putting this out. Great tournament to join in. Love the DraftKings product. I do my sports betting on DraftKings exclusively. Travis Hunter goes off the board after Zay Flowers and a little Chuba Hubbard. So now let's recap some teams here. Backwards, since we're going backwards in this round. Gravy Man at team 12, 4 receivers, 2 running backs. I have 3 and 3. Team 10, 4 receivers, a running back, and a quarterback. So a little hero running back. Hero running back for team 9 as well. Ashton Genty to go with 3 receivers, Nico, Egbuka, and Hunter. And then you also have the quarterback and tight end. Team 8 went 4 receivers in a row. Follow that up with DeAndre Swift and Chuba Hubbard. So this kind of shows you that if you do wait on running back, you could get a couple volume backs later. So it really is a strategy. A lot of strategies can work. RJ Harvey goes to team 7, who now have 3 running backs, Harvey, Walker, and Kyron Williams, to go with Calvin Ridley, Justin Jefferson, and Brock Bowers. Nice build there, by the way. Team 6 went running back, Gibbs Taylor. Came back 3 receivers and 4 picks, Harrison, Sutton, Judy, and then Jalen Hurts in there. And team 5, we saw go with 4 receivers after taking McCaffrey and Hampton in rounds 1 and 3. Jacoby Myers goes at to the 4th team. That gives them 3 and 3, 3 running backs, 3 receivers. A couple tight ends off the board, Laporta and Kelsey. I'm going at the end of round 6. Giving those teams their first tight end, obviously. Isaiah Pacheco off the board as a running back 2. So team 1, who had Chase, didn't address receiver to the 5th with Devontae Smith. Didn't address running back to the 4th and 6th. You end up with Brees Hall and Isaiah Pacheco. Lamar Jackson, Trey McBride. Romo Dunze is the wide receiver 3 in the mix. We are in the 7th round already. Like I said, you absolutely got to love this DraftKings Best Ball, the 30-second clock. Yes, You fly through these drafts. All right. So hopefully everybody's enjoying some coverage here of this draft. Got a good deal of people here watching this one. Pat Mahomes goes off the board. So now that is the quarterback 6. We had we had one, almost not quite 2 rounds, but a round and 2/3 between the big 5 and Mahomes going up the board. Aaron Jones, TJ Hawkinson. All right, we'll start to play a little chess with the board to see what we've got going here and make a determination on how to move forward. TJ Hawkinson is the first tight end for DJ 41 and third tight end taken in a 7-pick period between 6'10 and the 7'4. Chris Olave taking the injury discount, round 7. Tyler Warren off the board. All right. And now we are midway through the 7th round. Quarterback-wise, again, we have 6 off the board. Tight end, 7 off the board. Stephon Diggs has been drafted. Caleb Johnson is a 3rd running back, so I like that teammate goes 4 receivers and 3 running backs. David Montgomery goes off the board, and I'm going to be up next here. Jaylen Warren. All right, let me take a quick look here. All right, nobody I really want here, and nobody I have to have here. So you know what? The tight ends, I'm going to go with a tight end here. And look, I am going to go with some David Njoku. As long as Joe Flacco is the quarterback there, pretty excited about that. Joe Flacco tends to get a lot out of Njoku. Remember, last 5 games they played together 2 years ago, Njoku was averaging 93 yards a game. Wow, that was insane. All right, let's see what we get from Team 12 here. While I look at the board a moment. All right, let's see what we got here. Go back to the draft board here. All right, and then Team 12 is picking Cooper Kupp off the board. All right, let's see what we get next here. I think I know it. And Tyrone Tracy. All right, I think what I want to do here is there's a long time I'm up, and I can't afford to miss a quarterback run. You all know I have Dak Prescott ahead of pretty much everybody. So I'm taking my shot here. Yeah, take Dak on my team. Got my quarterback and my tight end now to get rolling. Evan Ingram goes. So, yeah, we'll get this rolling here. And, but yeah, I was happy to get Dak Prescott there. You know, Prescott's in the last 3 healthy seasons, quarterback 2, 3, and 7. 3, you get 3 bonus points for 300 yards. Dallas's defense, I think, is going to be a disaster. And I think that the running game's not going to sustain. I think Dak's going to have to put the team on his shoulders. And with Pickens to go with Lamb and Ferguson, yeah, I think they're going to pile up some yards. So it'll be fun with that. Baker Mayfield goes off the board. Now, I don't know whether I started that. Maybe I didn't. But you got to be cognizant of, you know, if the run hit when I didn't pick, can't take that chance. So that's a real important strategy point. When you're at the end of a round, you either have to start it, or often you end up having it ended on you. And that could be a real dilemma. Kyler Murray off the board. So like I said, whether I started or not, the quarterback run is going a little bit here. Mark Andrews after Khalil Shakir. Discount on Shakir because of the high ankle sprain for sure. Josh Downs, that's about normal for him. He's dealing with a hamstring injury. Not excited. I keep saying Downs is quarterback proof. Daniel Jones scares me. Downfield passing hasn't been a strength. I know he had some success with Slayton, an outside receiver, a bit earlier, but I think that through the injuries, Jones is not so hot of a downfield thrower. So I like Downs as a vertical receiver from the slot. Juwan Jennings, 8'10", dealing with a calf, but up a 900+ yard season last year. See how that one goes. And we are blowing along here about, I don't even know how long it is. So we're about 20 minutes into this draft, and we're already in round 8. Give me these 30-second clocks from DraftKings all day long. Jamie, appreciate you. Good to see you in the house. Dude, you're such a great fantasy football friend. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for watching the marathon. That marathon was fun. Got to sit back and listen to some great football minds, and just got to interview them and get thoughts on all 32 teams again on RotoWire YouTube. If you missed it yesterday, get set up with that. Hey, RotoWire, all my articles are behind a paywall. So if you're interested in those or the RotoWire rankings, we got a great newly upgraded mock draft simulator, draft assistant. Get you 15% off. You go to rotowire.com, pick a subscription, use the code YouTube15 at checkout. DraftKings, you see in the description, got you guys a deal on DraftKings. We told you at the beginning. Yeah, Jamie, the guests were amazing. I Fortunately, people are willing to come on my shows for things like this. Keon Coleman and Quinshawn Judkins at the turn. Judkins going in the 9th round. Really wish to know what to expect of him. Sounds like he hasn't signed his contract. And I kind of wonder why. I wonder if he's playing hardball, which would be weird. Brian Robinson in the 9th. Will he have a team? Question among all questions, right? We'd like to know for sure. All right, let's see. Brian, so again, Michael Pittman Jr. in the 9th round. Pittman's caught some flack about, falling down draft boards. He was beat up. His back was really bad last year. Really a tough year for him. All right, let me see here. I got let's see. How do I figure this? There we go. Perfect. I got to scroll this up a little bit. So Zach Charbonnet after Bo Nix. So Bo Nix goes off the board. Let's see. We had big 6, 7, 8, 9. Nix is the 10th quarterback off the board. Joe Mixon finally gets picked in the 9th round. Foot injury. Wonder when he's coming back. And, he's been the great compiler his whole career. I mean, he's never been great with broken tackle rate, yards after contact, but he gets volume, and volume's king in fantasy football. But we'll see. J.J. McCarthy goes off the board. So an interesting, I'd probably paired up with Justin Jefferson. Yeah, paired up with Justin Jefferson for sure. Jared Goff, Travis Etienne goes off the board. Sharp pick there for sure. All right, so we kind of see what's beginning to happen here. J.K. Dobbins. So I am definitely going to go with a quarterback here. You know what? If we're playing in a best ball tournament, and I'm hoping to take it down. I got Garrett Wilson already. Yeah, give me Justin Fields. Give me that rushing upside, right? Get a couple of those 100-yard games there at the 3-point DraftKings bonus. Got to love that. All right, let's get back to the draft board here and see how Team 12 is coming along. And so we had J.K. Dobbins, ETN just go before then. Yeah, but you see in best ball, and you guys know this, when you're playing DraftKings best ball, you got to have multiple quarterbacks, not just the bye weeks, but injuries. But then your quarterback's a down week. Drake May goes off the board as a quarterback 1 for Team 12, and we'll see what they do to double up their next pick before I am on the clock. Now we'll take a close look. Oh, you know what? I think I know wide receiver I might like to have here if it doesn't get picked here, and I assume he's not off the board, but we'll find out. So I'm trying to narrate this draft, kind of losing track of who might be there. All right, 5 seconds. Caleb Williams. So let's go to the wide receiver board. And you know what? I want Christian Kirk. I love Christian Kirk in his situation this year, playing in the slot, playing for CJ Stroud. Very excited about that. Yeah, it's a target of mine right around this point. If my RotoWire teammate Alan Soslowski is listening, he'll be smiling right now at that pick because I know he also loves himself some Christian Kirk. But I need that 4th receiver. We're in the DraftKings Best Ball here. Start 3 receivers. I got Wilson, Moore, and Waddle. Yeah, but 3 receivers got to do way better than that. So Christian Kirk, I really do think is a nice 4th wheel, especially in the 10th round or so of this draft. I do have 3 running backs on my squad: Henry, Chase Brown, James Conner. Got 2 quarterbacks, got a tight end. Caleb Williams went off the board also. So Drake making. So we have how many teams with 2 quarterbacks? So team 12, 11, 8, and 7. Yeah, and so then the other teams on the left end don't have a second quarterback, but a lot of them picked a higher end quarterback, and we understand how that goes. You spend the higher draft capital on those high end quarterbacks, you're not going to invest in another one because you're expecting that quarterback to be your starter almost every week. So you just need an injury contingent because you're already putting your chips in the quarterback basket there. So smart to do. But when like myself and the other teams in the spots around by 8, 9, maybe 7, 8. Those teams waited later, like I did. You take that second quarterback. You got to hedge. Javonte Williams and Jaden Higgins go off the board. Jaden Reed went off the board. Tucker Kraft. So yeah, Tucker Kraft in there. Usually going about tight end 11 in drafts. Strong pick there. All right, check that. I just want to look ahead, play a little chess here. Never want to play checkers. Got to think a couple rounds ahead in these things. We're in the 10th round. We are flying through the DraftKings 15 million best ball at $2 million to the winner, $1 million to second. This is going to be one fun league to play in. Brock Purdy off the board to go with Jalen Hurts. So a couple quarterbacks there. Yeah, in best ball, you've got to get that second quarterback. Chris Godwin taking the injury discount in the latter part of the 10th round. Keenan Allen hoping to be the ageless wonder, coming off a 700-plus yard season. Justin Herbert's the quarterback 2 for team 3 to go with Joe Burrow. There we go there. All right, let me see here. And so we're getting near the end of the 10th round. Team 2 has Patrick Mahomes. Team 1 has Lamar Jackson. So interesting to see how these teams go here. A I like the Keon Coleman pick there. Keon Coleman, we'll see what he does as an outside receiver. He was really coming on before that wrist injury. Found out later it was a chipped bone in the wrist, and that's probably why he wasn't much of a factor. Colston Loveland off the board to go to second tight end with Sam Laporta. Very nice there. Google's 20s on the clock at Michael Penix Jr. to go with Lamar Jackson. Yeah, you see it's thinning out already, right? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 tight ends, 18 quarterbacks off the board. And so that's the point right now where you got to make your decision of how you're going to address the quarterback position. And I see a few teams that have one still, trying to navigate through this a little bit better. So I see, yeah, it's going to be hard to do that. That's fine. So we are in the 11th round. DraftKings 15 million. Got to join us. $20 to join. That's nothing. That's a great opportunity here. And I have a ticket in this one. Rashad Bateman off the board. Marvin is, get a little wide receiver run started here. See if that happens right now. I'd like to see that happen. Get some good wide receivers going here. Marvin Mims, he was great on bubble screens and bomb slayer. Kyle Pitts off the board. Yes, people are buying into the breakout this year. It's going to be this year, we promise. All right, maybe not, but maybe. You never know. But Kyle Pitts been a bit of a disappointing career for sure, right? Yeah. Hello, everybody at RotoWire. I'm doing podcasts Saturday and Sunday. Check those out. Jordan Love is off the board here. I do the Saturday podcast with James Coe. Sunday podcast on my solo, which is fine. Don't mind working solo. Don't mind working with a teammate. Always works well. Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. I'm on Saturdays and Sundays, 2 to 4 Eastern. On Saturdays with Mario Puig. Sundays with Alan Soslowski. Alan and I did not get picked up for the regular season Sundays. A little bit of a tear there. Love that Sunday shows, but it was a blessing to be on there for the years I was there. Dalton Kincaid. All right, now we get down to Dr. Brad up here. Braylon Allen, there it is. I love some Braylon Allen. Braylon Allen's been a big name to go this year. Like I said, his team loves him. We're nearing the end of the 11th round. I'll be up on a couple picks here. I'll be keeping my mind aware of what's going on at this draft. And let's see, 10 seconds for who just picked the last 3 rounds for team 9. Jordan Addison, Travis Etienne, Jaden Reed, and Rashid Shaheed. All right, let's see. Let's see what this team does. I got an interesting opportunity. Am I up on the clock yet? Oh, I'm on the clock. Okay. Wow. I don't know. Everybody must hate him because, literally Jake Ferguson's my guy. I have him my tight end 6, and everybody must know more than me because what I get him at tight end 17. I'm extremely ecstatic about that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Ferguson played 7 games at Dak last year, had 70 yards in 3 of those games. And 4 of the 70 at least 11.9 PPR points. And I know they got Pickens, but Pickens really only opens the field. I said earlier, Dallas have to throw the tar out of the ball. And if that's the case, there's going to be plenty to go around for Lamb, for Pickens, and for Fergie. All right, let's see what we got here. Get back to the draft board here. Oh, I'll be up in a second. Let me just kind of see. I kind of know where I want to go with this. I just want to make sure it's my turn. I got 30 seconds. So, yeah, Jamie, you're grabbing Ferguson as your second tight end as well. Yeah, I mean, man, I'm happy with my tight end 1, 2, and non-best ball, but in the DraftKings Best Ball, that's really the way to go. All right, we've got 6 seconds. Trey Benson. Let's take a quick look here. Running backs. Let's see here. You know what? Oh, man. I'm going to go with the PPR. Oh, wait, hang on. Give me a second here. You know what? Let's talk about it. I'm going to go Tillman. Let me get Cedric Tillman here. Yeah, I think they're going to have to throw. I need a receiver. I really need a receiver. So let's do that. I love Cedric Tillman, 12th round. We'll see how that shakes out for me. But my 5th receiver, I love that 7 for 85 average that he had and a touchdown in that 3-week span after taking over for Mari Cooper when he got traded. Then a 40-yard game, then the concussion to end the season. But I think Tillman's going to be a good deal. Now, of course, how long is Joe Flacco going to be under center? I hope it's all year. Look, the Joe Flacco thing, however you look at it, I see it this way. Kevin Stefanski was a former coach of the year, and he wants to win. Flacco's his best chance to be competitive. Also, to keep the locker room, the veterans that want to win, Flacco's their best chance. And I know he makes mistakes, but he's far better than the other options they have. Dylan Gabriel, I always saw as a project. Sanders, a 5th-round pick. So obviously, whatever the distractions were, nobody thought he had enough talent to move beyond that. So we'll see how that goes. Darnell Mooney falls to the 12th round, dealing with a shoulder injury. Mooney was interesting. After 7.5 targets a game, last 6 games of the season, the Falcons just focused on Bijan and Drake London. It was like everything else centered outside of them. And then Mooney is on 5 targets a game from there. So interesting. We'll see if he picks it back up after he's back from injury. We see next team here, timed out, Luther Burden. So it's going to be hard to recap the teams. This is just flying along here. Bryce Young goes, so the quarterback duo for the team 5, they waited until the 11th round, and their duo is going to be Jordan Love and Bryce Young. This is a best ball league, remember, so it's not super flex, but you got to have 2. That's just the way it works. Ramondre Stevenson, Nick Chubb off the board. All right. And we are flying by here. Where we at round wise? We're about 30 minutes into this. We're in the 12th round. DraftKings is the way to do it with these 30-second clocks. And I know there's some other platforms with 30-second clocks too, but DraftKings is the one I'm going with right now. It's 15 million, 2 million to the winner. Hey, take my lottery ticket, right? It beats playing the lottery. At least I got some input as to my players, right? Cam Scadaboo was out with a little running back run at the end of the 12th round. You got a few number 2 running backs that hopefully can become more than that. And we are getting to the turn, 12-13, Trey Harris. All right, let's see what else we got here. And Tyjae Spears. So, yeah, the backup running back run is on in full force. All right. Hopefully everybody's enjoying coverage of this draft. RotoWire, we have articles coming out every day this preseason. Like I said, I'm writing about 4 a week. And go to rotowire.com. If you want a subscription, I can get you 15% off. Use the code YouTube15 at checkout. Our mock draft simulator has really been upgraded. Our draft assistant, you link a lot of your leagues directly. Tech team at RotoWire is insanely good. Give us a look. Check out the RotoWire Fantasy Football Podcast. Remember to play on. Oh, so yeah, you know what? It's funny on Krosky Merritt, and I'm going to wait to talk about that, Jamie, because of other players who may or may not be drafted. So, but there will be a point. Re-ask the question if it comes up later. But in terms of Krosky Merritt himself, Mario Puig, my RotoWire teammate, is like under a belief that it's all been Ben Standig driven, who's a beat reporter who he has done beating the drum. That's his belief. Honestly, I know that the Commanders seem to be looking for a more explosive option than Brian Robinson. And I don't know what the deal lately, why, he's rumored to be traded or whatnot. I don't know what's going on with that. But I do think, end of last season, Brian Robinson's efficiency went through the tank in the second half of the year. And I think they know that. In the playoffs, he was useless to them. Brandon Ayuk goes in the middle of the 13th round. I think that's a great value at that point. You're in a best ball league and DraftKings, and you're trying to win the big tournament. And if Brandon Ayuk gets to normal in week 9, week 10, all of a sudden you've got somebody who is going to be a potentially good performer. Now, remember, last year Ayuk was terrible. He had 1 good game out of 7, right? So anyway, but Ayuk, though, it was last year he had that labor strife. Remember, it was a contract thing. So, but if he comes back, you never know how somebody bounces back with injuries, but it's a great lottery ticket. Dante Thornton, Adam Thielen go. So I'll be up in a couple picks. And Jamie, I can ask about your it's a tough call. 2026 third, Jamie. A third, those thirds are like sketchy. It's like you really don't know what you're getting. Let's say Krosky Merritt does get a shot at the job and he does well. Because, running backs, you just got to have somebody out there. I like so Josh Allen and then CJ Stroud and Trevor Lawrence. That's a big investment in the quarterback position. I thought if you were just going to fly with Stroud and Lawrence and take your shots, I thought that would have been a cool strategy. But, man, that's a big investment. I'm up on the clock here. Let's take a look here. All right, let's see what we got here. Running back, take a quick look here. All right, nothing there. Let's go to the receiver room. What do I want here? I think I'm going to go with a PPR special here. Let's go to the Wan'Dale Robinson. Spank me some points if my receivers are having a down week. And I'll be up in another moment here. I should have a couple moments here. Give me a minute to look here. Just take a look at the running back board to see what's out there. All right, am I on the clock here? No, not yet. Gravy man still on the clock. Okay, Gravy man still on the clock here. All right, I got an idea. You know what? I'm going to take my dart on Najee Harris. I do think there's going to be a split backfield there, and I think this late in the draft, I think it's way worth it for me to take that dart on him. Because again, I need running backs pretty desperately. He's only my fourth running back on my team. But again, if Najee Harris does get some run, especially in games that the Chargers are winning. I know that Greg Roman, they want to run as much as they can. They'll use Rashawn Slater, the tackles out for the year, but they'll use two tight ends. They'll use an extra running back. They'll get blocking schemes on the field. So I do think Harris is going to get some work. They're paying him $9.25 or $9.35 million this year. I know that's before they drafted Hampton, but I do think Harris is going to get some work. Again, I'm explaining away a 14th round pick. But again, you got to get running back depth in these things, right? All right, Romeo Dobbs off the board. Hunter Henry. That's good. Is that the first tight end for DeBrad? Okay. So I'm really waited out that one. But you notice after I took Ferguson in round 11, no tight ends in 12, 13, and almost half of 14. So that was a long layoff between having any tight end selected. Ty Johnson, very good receiving back. James Cook probably isn't excited about Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson's a very good blocker. Ty Johnson also is very good at the nuance of the play. Like if a play breaks down, he knows when to leak out. Remember that one playoff game last year? It might have been Denver. I can't remember for sure, but I remember he just like leaked out and got to the back of the end zone and Allen found him. It's things like that that keep Ty Johnson that passing down role. Jerome Ford, Tyler Algier off the board. So now again, we're seeing a little more movement on running back. I like that team too took Austin Eckler at the 1302. I was considering him where I took Tillman, but I just thought Tillman, I couldn't pass up on him. But Eckler now, if Brian Robinson's gone, Eckler maybe gets 5 to 7 carries a game. I don't know what the concussion thing's going to bother, but he'll be the passing down back. But I could totally see Eckler getting, a little bit of carries as well. Again, he's in decline. We know that. But again, you're talking the 13th round of a draft, right? And you don't know how these other running backs are going to shake out in Washington. So there's that, right? All right, we're entering the 15th round. We're at the turn 14-15. DraftKings, $15 million best ball, $2 million to first, $1 million to second. RotoWire is very happy to partner up with this. The link for the promotion from DraftKings will be in the YouTube description. Catch that there. You're at the top of the show. I know Nick Whalen went over the promotion, so definitely want to check that out. Will Shipley goes after Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's a third quarterback for a team with Lamar Jackson, Michael Penix, and now Sam Darnold. Geno Smith had gone off the board earlier in the round. Cam Ward went. I must have been sleepwalking. I was getting ready to make my pick. That's the whole thing. I was getting ready to make my pick, and that was a little behind on that. Demario Douglas had gone at the 13-14 turn. And now we are into the 15th round, rolling right along. Xavier Legette goes to team 2. We'll see if first round pick, I'm sure it was the late first round pick last year. So the investment at receiver in Carolina, but the big talk, of course, is Ted McMillan. Kyle Williams got the board, third round pick of the Patriots. Jalen Wright off the board, round 15. The stock has fallen significantly. Matthew Stafford as the third quarterback, all right, for team. That's all right, good there. We are just flying through the 15th round here. Yeah, Jamie, did we talk before about selling Krosky Merritt for a third? Like I said, third round, it's so sketchy there. Like I said earlier, if this young man just gets an opportunity, if he's decent, I mean, could hang on to a role, right? So it's very interesting to look at it that way. Jalen McMillan may not play till week 9. I had just heard significant injury apparently. So, but it's a very, very tough injury for him. Especially he would have an opportunity if Chris Godwin. We don't know for sure if he's a miss early in the season. McMillan would have been automatically in 3 receiver sets. Now it's almost a certainty that Godwin is back well before McMillan. So there's that. Anthony Richardson, the backup quarterback for the Colts, goes, but hey, he'll probably make starts at some point, right? I'm up in a couple of picks. Isaac Guerrero goes. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, take a look here. All right, I'm on the board here. All right. I'm going with 2 quarterbacks. I'm not even thinking that one twice through. You know what? Let's go at Ollie Gordon. I like the buzz here. If we have Achane of his injury is a problem, then I kind of like that idea of maybe getting the young power back in there. Let's take a look here and see what I want to roll with here. I'm back on the clock. I'll have a little bit of time here. I think is where I make my little dart on De'Ami Brown. We're later in that draft with Jacksonville now. Liam Cohen, third receiver, came out in the NFL playoffs last year. Did very little during the year, but all that said, it was a kind of a nice little playoff run, and we'll see. We'll see if Brown's in a roll. But again, we're talking the 16th round of the DraftKings Best Ball tournament. 15 million overall, 2 million to the winner, 1 million to the runner. Taj Brooks goes off the board. And after Woody Marks, too. Woody Marks, a great player. Chiga Okonkwo went off the board to 15, 16. Love Okonkwo, 500 yards roughly in a number of seasons. Now, he may be the de facto number 2 in this room if no receivers step up. And we also have to consider the possibility of quarterback upgrade. If Cam Ward is, as I hope he is, better than Will Levis and Mason Rudolph, maybe Okonkwo really becomes that player we hoped he would. Cade Otton and Elijah Arroyo come off the board here. Otton may get some serious run early in the season, especially if Godwin's out and we know McMillan's out. We remember last year when they had wide receiver injuries. Well, actually, it was both Evans and Godwin out. That was when Otton went off last year. But yeah, when the receivers are on the field, Otton is probably not going to do anything. But early in the season, yeah, there might be some real value in there. DeAndre Hopkins, it's getting late in the draft. Jonnu Smith probably should have gone a little bit earlier here. Should have gone a little bit earlier. Arthur Smith's going to use that tight end. Smith had 580 yards with Coach Smith 2 years ago as the backup, second tight end to Kyle Pitts, who had in the 670s. There were like 1,200 receiving yards to the tight ends in Atlanta and Smith's last year there. Interesting. All right, we are nearing Isaiah Likely goes. We are nearing the end of the 16th round. Keaton Mitchell went off the board for Hollywood Brown. Man, if Keaton Mitchell were to be able to get in, he hurt a hamstring, so I'm a little worried there. But if he were to get in 5 to 8 carries, man, could do some damage. Apparently, he's back from that injury, so hopefully the young man's ready to roll because he showed us a lot as a rookie. He'll never match at 8 yards per carry, but so what? If he can get us 5, occasional big play, yeah, definitely all day long. Aaron Rodgers, it might have been an auto pick there, but we'll see. But hey, all the quarterbacks are going to be taken. Any possible quarterback start. I'm going to roll with 2. I'm in the tournament here. I need other darts, other positions. If I lose both Prescott and Fields, all right, season's over anyway. So if I get some low upside guy, yeah, I know points are points, but I only need 1 to start. It's not a super flex league, so I'm going to take my chances with 2. Especially since I got 2 players who I think, have, what though? It's interesting with Fields because Fields does miss time. But again, I've got it. If Prescott stays healthy, then I'm set either way, right? Mike Gesicki goes. So a little tight end run here. We saw a team, was it 8? Go Henry, Mason, Taylor, Arroyo. So 3 tight ends. They waited on that, but they've addressed it very well. Had waited a bit on quarterback, not long. Mayfield and Jared Goff thought that was slick. We are now in the 17th round. DraftKings Best Ball, 15 million to the winner. $20 entry fee. All right. And Jamie's going to wait until Grosky Merritt hits second round. Yeah, it's probably better because, right, you actually want him to have some production. And then if you want to get out of him, then get out of him at that point. Horton's been a big name. He hurt himself recently. It should be a minor injury, but I know a lot of people are real excited about him. How hard it would be to supplant Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I think he's just a decoy, but they need somebody to go stretch the field. We'll see how that works out. But, hey, why not this late in the game? Alec Pierce, Jalen Naylor. Yep, closing time. Semisonic song setting up here. All right, we are just rolling. Russell Wilson off the board to go with Tua Tagovailoa and Bo Nix. So 3 quarterbacks there. Tyler Higbee. So, yeah, the run on is going here. I don't foresee myself investing in another tight end unless I have to. I went 7th and 11th round. I went Njoku and Ferguson. Again, I'm just going to bank that I got one of them healthy at a time, and it should be enough. I think it's that mid-round investment where I don't take the third, just take darts at other positions at that point. That might be the way for me to go. Maybe I'll change my mind if I look on the board and there's somebody there that I can't pass. But for right now, yeah, I think that's the way to go. Kareem Hunt off the board. All right, I think I can get back to I want to look at the board. I got a Justice Hill. Take a look and just set up my next idea for picks here. All right, I'm just looking through here. I'm adding me a little time here. All right, I think I got a couple ideas. All right, now I'm up in a couple of picks here. All right, good there. and I'm going to be on deck. And I'll scroll back to the draft board in a moment. I got to make sure I get my picks. I'm on the board here. You know what? I've got to grab a DJ Giddens share here. If Jonathan Taylor missed a lot of time, if he misses time, that's a piece I want. All right, now let's see what team. I'll be up after the turn, then I'll put the draft board back on for everybody. I'll make sure I get this all set up here. Jatavian Sanders was taken. And we'll get one more pick, and then I'll be on the clock, and then I'll go back to the draft board for everybody. All right, so that was Dalton Schultz. I am going to take a shot on Elika Mayanor. He has a chance of early talk was they were going to use him at the X because Ridley's like a stretch Z. So we'll see what happens. And look, he might not be anything, but this late in the draft, it's a dart you got to throw, right? But if he ends up being a starting receiver, Tennessee's going to trail a lot. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, Io Manor in the 18th round. Man, we're buzzing by. Got 2 rounds plus left. This Malik Washington, Ray McLeod, Tyler Lockett, whatever, Chris Rodriguez. And, actually, so now I could talk about it, Jamie. Chris Rodriguez, even though he did well, I think even before that, when they're talking about Krosky Merritt, like jumping in and Brian Robinson maybe being an afterthought, I thought to myself, man, why not Chris Rodriguez? And then the team's been back and forth with him. They have him on the roster, they have him off the roster, they bring him back, but he's a good player. And if he has an opportunity, he may be able to do some damage. And Washington upgraded their line. So we'll see what happens here. But I think that just as hot as people are Krosky Merritt, which where did Krosky Merritt go? Let's take a look here if I can find him. He went in the 12th round, and you're getting Rodriguez at the end of the 17th. Yeah, I think that is a value you want to take. Actually, had I drafted Krosky Merritt, well, you don't really want to hedge 2 backups. I don't think that would be smart. So, yeah, but that would have been a thought because who knows what happens to the Brian Robinson thing, right? Blake Corum, Darren Waller off the board, need him on the field. Michael Wilson went off the board. Andre Yoshivas, end of the 18th round. Again, we have the DraftKings Best Ball, 15 million first, 15 million overall, 2 million to first, 1 million to second, $20 entry fee. Definitely want to sign up for this. RotoWire, we love to partner up with DraftKings. Love DraftKings. Like I said, I gamble at DraftKings. That's my main book of choice. So that's the way to go. DraftKings all day long. I know everybody says don't bet parlays. Man, I was up over 90 units on same game parlays last year. I bet them conservatively though. I don't take the posted lines. I always take the adjusted line numbers for players. And yeah, you go on runs where you don't hit anything, but you go on a run where you start hitting, and all of a sudden it looks pretty good. Theo Johnson and Roshan Johnson end up the 18th round. I have 2 picks left here. We are going to round this thing out. We're about 50 minutes into the draft, 52 minutes of the stream for sure. And yeah, we're going to have this thing done in under an hour. It'll be 20 rounds. Think about that. Love the 30-second clock that DraftKings has for us. Any questions you want to pop them in the chat? I could definitely answer those. Isaac Tesla goes off the board, 19th round. I know the coaching staff was first talking about being him being like a special teamer the first year, but maybe he's more. Maybe he's more, right? And yeah, Jamie, I know the alternate lines are the way to go. And I think people, if you're just betting the numbers on the board, you still get really good odds. 6, 7 legs, and it's a lot. But if you lower those numbers into a reasonable range, like I said, you're going to lose a high percentage. But I'm making a lot. Oh yeah, Jamie, you love Roshan Johnson. You love that guy. Devon Vele, Calvin Austin, Jalen Knoll goes in the 19th round. Hey, if the 3rd round draft pick steps up, you never know what'll happen there, right? Christian Kirk gets hurt a lot too, and if he gets hurt, Knoll could be in a real optimal spot early. We are in the middle of the 19th round. Anthony Richardson lost his starting job today to Daniel Jones. Jones goes in the 18th round. Richardson goes in the 15th round. We know who thinks the upsides are. Jackson Dart. Did it go with Russell Wilson pick? No. Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, and then little Jackson Dart. And there's Sean Tucker. Muth goes off the board. I'm up at a few picks here. I'm going to have a couple late picks. I'm going to take a look at my draft board, so I apologize. You can kind of see at the top, though. All right, let's see if there's any players here. Oh, Robbie Chosen. Got to go with that one. Just kidding. Yeah. Oh, and Lucky Jackson. Don't think it's Lamar Jackson because you'll get the wrong guy. Not going to work there. You get these sketchy names. Definitely going Darius Slayton. Best ball. Gotta love. He has like 3 700-yard seasons. Russ throws moon balls. Yeah. To me, that's a no-brainer. All right. What else we got here? Got one pick left. Let's scroll through here. I think I know where I might want to go if the player's not taken. There's no sniping in these rounds. There's everything's a crapshoot at this point, and there's nothing wrong with that. Raheem Mostert off the board. And I'll be up in one pick here, so let's just see through here. All right, I want to go some Brashard Smith. I just got to find him. Yeah, because second half of the year, we know those young pass-catching backs, that's when they make their difference with Andy Reid's system. So we'll see if Brashard Smith can lock something down late. I love that work that he fell that late 20th round. Thought he should have gone way sooner than that, but that's my opinion. Adonai Mitchell goes before him, Raheem Mostert. Like I said, Slayton in the 19th round, he's going to get a number of big plays. It's just the way his whole career's been. Neighbors going to get all the attention. Russ going to throw some moon balls. I'm not saying Darius Slayton's a world beater, of course. Was Harold Fannin drafted in these? I didn't see Fannin go. And I know they're talking about getting him use. We'll see how that all shakes out. But I tell you what, man, they got Judy and Tillman, and they got Njoku. I just don't, and I know they're going to use him. I fail to see, how much more they're going to get him used. Now, Njoku misses time, so there's that. Juwan Johnson's a real nice tight end pick in the 20th round. He gets these close to 500-yard seasons, and he's never really been utilized. But I think the personnel on the New Orleans roster means they have to use 2 tight end sets. Johnson to be the receiver. I think he gets more snaps, and Taysom Hill is like nowhere close to playing. That helps Juwan Johnson. So I think Juwan Johnson in the 20th round. I bet you this team gets 4 to 5 possibly useful fantasy weeks out of them with Jonnu Smith and Tyler Warren. Yeah, I think Jonnu Smith will qualify some weeks on the best balls to start. Gabe Davis, the late dart throw. Last word is he might go back to the Bills. He was with the Steelers for a visit. Interesting. Oh, that's Jamie. I think you mentioned that somewhere before. You hung out with Fannin's parent. Yeah, I think you mentioned that. That's awesome. That's fabulous. Jake Browning. Oh, a little backing up some Joe Burrow. That's slick and everybody. This has been the DraftKings 15 million best ball tournament. 2 million to the winner, 1 million to second place. I hope you enjoyed the draft here. Remember, I'm over at RotoWire. If you want a subscription to RotoWire, get my articles behind the paywall, get our mock draft simulator, our draft assistant, everything world class there. Get you a 15% discount. Use the code YouTube15 when you go to rotowire.com for a subscription. Use that YouTube15 at checkout. Get you all set up there. Outside of that, remember SiriusXM on the weekends. Jamie wants to win first, and he wants me to come in second. I love that. Love it, love it, love it. SiriusXM on Fantasy Sports Radio Channel 87, Saturdays and Sundays. I'm on 2 to 4 Eastern. RotoWire socials. I have a face for radio, but I'm on the videos there all the time. But definitely love if you check out myself, Matt Jim Coventry NFL on the X. Stats of the day. We have all that good stuff. Everybody, appreciate you hanging out with me today. It's a great draft. Had a great time. Everybody, we'll talk to you soon.